If you're looking for time management tools that can save you time, make you more productive, and cut stress, you're in the right place. I'm Dr. Ellen Ettinger, and I'm going to be talking about 3 tools today that do exactly that. I'm going to explain each of them to you so that you understand the differences and so you'll know how to implement them in your lives. And the important thing is to know the difference between each of the 3 of them so that you can get the full benefit of them all. I've seen them used a lot recently, especially in the news. And I've seen some of them used interchangeably and sometimes incorrectly. So again, I want to make sure that people understand the difference, how to use them and how to implement them. So again, you can get the full benefit of each of them. And at the end, I'm going to throw in a 4th tool that I think is valuable also. So make sure you stay until the end so you get all the good stuff, including the 4th technique. So time is limited. We all only have 24 hours a day. We can't ask for more or we can't expect more. But if we can plug up the holes of time and avoid the time wasters, we can get more useful time returned to us. And the types of tools that I'm going to be talking about today do that. They can return useful time to us. So they're like magic. I love these tools and other comparable tools. Again, they're like magic because they save us time and they return time to us. So I'm so happy to share them with you. So let's start with time blocking. Usually, we all have a master sheet or a master list or a to-do list of things that we want and we need to get done. And I know very often my clients tell me when they come to start to work with me, and people say, you sometimes look at your to-do list and you say, I don't know how I'm going to get all of these things done. Well, time blocking helps you solve that stress, because what time blocking does is you take a task on your list, you determine how long you want to allot to that task, and you put it on your calendar. So let's say you have a work report that you have to get done, and you want to allot 2 hours to it. So you go to your calendar and you put it on your calendar. So let's say, for example, you put it on your calendar for tomorrow to work on it from 10 o'clock to 12 o'clock. So again, in time blocking, it requires you to allot an amount of time and to put it on your calendar. So already it's a stress buster. You're cutting stress because you're no longer thinking in your mind, I don't know when I'm going to get that done, because you've allotted a time frame to it and you've put it on your calendar. Very often when we're looking at things on our to-do list and we don't have a time frame for it, the time frame is really endless because we don't have a plan for how long we want to allot for that project. So time blocking is really helpful because it starts helping us be accountable for how much time we're going to spend on an activity. Time boxing rather, goes a step further. What time boxing requires you to do is to really look carefully at that task and to think to yourself, well, how much time do I really need for this task? So for example, if you have that work report that we were talking about, and you put it on your calendar for 2 hours for tomorrow, but you think to yourself, how much time do I really need for that task? And you might think to yourself, well, I have all of the information, all of the data available. I just have to write it up. I think I can do that in 1 hour. Well, you've just saved 1 hour in your schedule that you can use for something else productively. You don't have to waste a second hour. And if you think really carefully that you can do this report in 1 hour, again, you're working more efficiently, more productively, and you've saved a whole slot of an hour in your day. Now, we all have time wasters in our day. And if you could save an hour a day, then over a year, and you don't even have to save an hour each day, but over a year, you could save over 300 hours of productive time that you can return to use for something else at work productively or to use for time off. So again, these techniques are like magic because they save time, they return time, and they help you cut stress. Because again, you're no longer dealing with just a to-do list with endless time frames for unlimited tasks. You're actually being responsible and putting them on your calendar. And again, time boxing requires you to be more accountable for your time. It requires you to think, what's a limited amount of time when I really think I can get this done? So it requires you to really think of your time in a box. What is this box of time that I really need to get this done? And time boxing reminds me of a law in work study called Parkinson's law. And that law says work expands to fill the time allotted to it. So if you assign 2 hours for that work report, guaranteed, you'll find 2 hours worth to do for that work report. Or if you have a week to do it and you don't allot a particular amount of time, guaranteed, you'll come back to that report over a week and keep working on it. And so it's really helpful to limit yourself and allot time. And the good news about it is that with time boxing and time blocking, if you get to the end of the time frame and you're not done, you're not fenced in, you can decide, you know what, I really need more time to get this done. So there's nothing stopping you from scheduling another block of time or another box of time to finish the task. And again, these techniques help you fill up holes so you're not working with tasks with endless time frames, because that's when we lose a lot of time and productivity. It's plugging up the holes and avoiding wasting time. And these techniques really help like that. Again, magic. I love these techniques. And again, with your time boxing, if you think to yourself, I can do this in an hour, it really motivates you to work efficiently because you know you just have that hour. So you become more accountable, more efficient, more focused because you know you're really serious now about that hour. It's not 2 hours that you've really just estimated that maybe you need. You've really thought carefully, 1 hour. So you're going to be productive, efficient, and focused on your task. And again, in either case, if it gets to the end of the time and you haven't finished, you can add on more time so they don't fence you in. So let's talk about time batching. And that's also called task batching. What that does is you take similar types of activities and you decide to put them together in a block of time that you'll work on both of them or a group of tasks within the same block of time. And that helps productivity. It helps you improve your productivity because it helps you avoid what's called context switching. And that talks about how the brain works. So for example, if you have a few emails to do and you have a couple of phone calls to call back, if you start working on this work report, and then in the middle of working on your work report, you decide to check your emails, and then you come back to your work report, and then you decide to return a phone call, and then you go back to your work report, you're doing different types of tasks that the brain functions differently on. And each time you change to different tasks, when you end one task, it takes a lag time for the brain to say, okay, I'm finishing this task. I'm stopping working on my report and I'm going to go to my emails. Then the brain says, okay, now I'm starting to think of emails. Again, there's a lag time to stop something and start something. And then when you go back to your report, there's a lag time to leave the emails and think back, all right, what was I up to in the report? So again, if you were instead to get your work report done and task batch your emails and telephone call, then you could just do your telephone call and emails, your communication tasks, which the brain works similarly. And you don't have to context switch going back to writing your report, going back and forth. So again, task batching or time batching helps you work more productively because you're not changing the mind's working, the mind's activity. And it really is helpful. These are all time savers, productivity increasers, and stress busters because they help you work better and smarter. And going back to time boxing, I've heard that Elon Musk, who's very productive and very successful, works in boxes of 5 minutes. And that means he's responsible to every 5 minutes on his schedule. So in 5 minutes, he could make a sandwich or handle a few emails. And if he has a task that requires more than 5 minutes, he determines how many blocks of 5 minutes is actually required for that task. And he assigns that many blocks of 5 minutes for a task. And that means he's accountable for every 5 minutes on his day. That's a very tight oversight of time. And it makes him very productive. I don't suggest you start with accountability for every single 5-minute block. It's difficult to do that. But once you start being accountable for blocks of time, and in the beginning, it may be a little difficult to figure out, well, I think this task may take me half an hour, or this one may take me an hour. But as you do it, you become better at estimating how much time it really will take to get something done. And again, all three of these are useful in their own ways. So I want to give you a fourth tool now, and that one I call time pockets. So in our days, we have lots of times that we spend wasting and waiting for things, like sitting on a bus or a train, or waiting for things like waiting for a bus, or waiting in line for something, or sitting in a doctor's office. And these are pockets of time that often go as wasted time. So in the morning, when I leave, I always throw a light book in my bag, or sometimes I'll throw some snail mail, some paper mail in my bag. And if I have any wasted time, some pockets of time that I don't have accounted activities for, like if I'm standing online or waiting for a bus or sitting on a bus or waiting in doctor's offices, I have a book or something, some paperwork that I can take out. So that time gets used productively. It's not wasted time. And again, it's like magic because you're using your time more productively. And so I love these tools. So if you're interested, and these are four of many time management, personal productivity tools, goal setting and goal reaching tools that I share with my clients, and life success methods that I share with them. If you'd like to learn more about these, I'll put my calendar in below. Feel free to reach out to me. Again, if you want to become more productive, have less stress, and more success, you can reach out to me. I hope that this was helpful. Please let me know in the comments what was your favorite takeaway. And again, if this was helpful, I'm going to ask you to do 3 things. To please click thumbs up. Please share this with other people because I really would love to share these techniques with lots of people and let a lot of people know about these techniques. And third, make sure that you've subscribed to my channel so that you'll know when I come out with new videos. And again, as always, next week I'll come out with a new video on a brand new topic. So until then, be empowered and let's talk together again soon.